Here is a humidifier. If the humidity goes down, the plant leaves, you can see that blackening on the corners and it will start falling down. You will see plant wilting leaves. So if you want to keep the plant green all the time, you need to make sure the tropical plants have humidity of 50% or above all the time. So use a simple humidifier to make sure that. This is also an indication. When you see your indoor plant having the leaves having black edges on the, it is also an indication that's exactly happening to your skin as well. So, but you apply moisturizer to bring it back under control, nobody to apply moisturizer for the plants. So they kind of lose their skin. So that is primarily on the humidity aspect that I want to. Uh, Again, it depends on whether you want to grow that on a full-fledged perspective, even on winter. If not, you can allow the plant to go dormant. That way, it would, not grow too much, but it will just live. It will just survive. That is the way you do that. And if you want to save bulbs, you can just put it on pine shavings or more like a peat moss kind of a thing. You don't need a soil medium at all. You can just dig your bulbs like turmeric, ginger, that you can on under the pine shavings, and it will just survive. Keep it moist. That's all is needed. Then you on the spring you can kind of plant it back into the garden. I will pass here. I think.
Uh, did we air circulation? Prasanna, what do we do for the air circulation? Proper air circulation?
Air circulation is needed in a closed environment only if there is less humidity. The heater or the AC always kind of covers that part as well. But it is not a bad idea to have a couple of pedestal fans or a table fan running around to make sure that the ventilation is better. Make sure that you do not overcrowd your plants because of two reasons. If one plant is having a lot of pest on it, it will travel to the other plants as well, and they need enough space of their own to grow. So that is another tip that I can provide.
Okay, so let's take the questions before we summarize this session. Let's take few questions that were asked in the chat. Do you keep them in garage whole winter? Do you keep any heater or something? Yes.
Yeah, I have a heater here, but yes, you can keep it in the garage, normal garage, even if you don't have a heater, that is totally okay. Not near door end, farther inside, and make sure that you have a grow light. If you don't have a heater inside the garage, doesn't go less than 40 will keep them surviving. There is some caveats out there. All jasmine varieties, like whether it's sambar, belly jasmine, dukes of Tuscany, or virajaji, all of jasmines will survive under 40. But curry leaves, tulsi plants, and all of that, they need very high intensity of both heat and light. They would have a suffering if you are trying to do so. Typical tropical plants and tropical like plants has a huge difference on that. So again, I definitely want you guys to read through what the plant you're doing, try to understand what is their behavior in their native environment and plan accordingly.
So the next question we have here, can please repeat about watering as well? Watering cycle.
The watering cycle is based on the soil you used. To know that, first water your pot and see how long it holds, what the temperature you keep, just to measure that once. So if you see that the watering goes down in couple of days, then try to do that. Also, it depends on what plant you are trying to grow. curry leaves, moringa, lemon, tulsi, jasmines, they all can survive without water for a long time. So you can pretty much cut down the watering cycle. If you try to water them in summer once in 2 days, you can probably water them once in a week. That would be enough. But if you are growing more of a water plant, then you need to water them more, like Cuban oregano and few other plants, beetle leaves and things like that. Also, it depends on what you want to do with them. If you just want to keep them in a dormant state, I don't want a flower, I don't want a fruit, I just want to keep them alive, then watering can be reduced. But if you want them to be the same way they are in summer as well, then you make sure at least you water them once in a week.
Okay. So the next question: will you upload a recording? This is YouTube live. Once it is done, the session will be there. The YouTube link is the same link. You can go back and play the same and watch it. So we don't need a recording. It's already recorded. The YouTube, the same link where you used to join, the same link you can use to go back and go through the entire session. And so if Prasanna, if what happens if there is a mold developing or some fungal issues, what kind of remedies that we can do?
So mold developing normally happens again because of the humidity. First thing I told, right? Do not try to keep the open the garage for that couple of hours or so. Fan, and if you are doing a better air ventilation, molding should not happen. But yes, humidity is very high. Definitely can potentially happen, but you need to make sure it is a trade-off with your here. Like if you do not have humidity, plant will die. If you have humidity, mold also is.
So if it develops, then how do we? What do we do? We do vinegar spray or just remove it from the lot and treat it separately, right?
See, mold does not hurt plant. Only aphids and scales and all of those kind of insects or pests only will affect the plant. Mold will affect the quality of air for us. So if it is on the wall, I would probably say, spray chlorine spray and clean that up. Do not let that grow fully then till the spring. So if you see mold, you spray any kind of a bleach spray on the on the wall, not on the plant. If you bleach the plant, it will die. So that is what would recommend. But for the plants, I would always say try to do a neem spray. Try to just sprinkle water on them a little bit, and make sure that if it is too much of infestation, you can also mix dishwash soap or shampoo, just a spoon of shampoo in 1 liter water, and spray through a smaller spray gun all over. That would take care of it.
Okay. So did that answer your question? I see a question. Please repeat about the mold as well as a Fit's voice went out. Did you get your answer? Um, okay, the next question: when should we harvest turmeric and ginger? Should we keep the bulbs?
You do not next, that's not a problem. Even you can leave it outside back. But ideally, if you want to harvest, yes, you harvest the full mother rhizome, and then just try to take the fingers alone.
We are losing you, Prasanna. We are losing your voice. Okay. Yeah.
the rhizomes. I put it on a pine shaving like this and just sprinkle water to keep this moist and leave it alone. Once I do that,
Okay. So I hope that answered the question. You harvest everything, put it in pine shavings, and save them. How to sanitize before bringing indoors?
normally I try to do pressure wash. You can see the volume of plants I have. See, it doesn't matter, irrespective of how much you sanitize, right? The reality is, uh, if I'm going to keep my, say, garage door open like this for a couple of hours. Okay, I brought everything now. Imagine that I sanitized everything and I brought everything now, but I kept it open. This is enough for other aphids or anything to come inside. So if you are going to be worried about infestation of insects, you cannot grow plants. That's the simple reality, because they both coexist.
So to summarize each part of this session, Prasanna. So before transitioning the plants indoors, a quick summary of what you should do.
Make sure that clear off all the leaves from the soil. Make sure that all the dead stems are all cut and removed, and make sure that it just stays on the full sun. The best thing to do is, like, bring them in after a new fresh rain, and make sure that you try to bring the plant inside on the temperature that you are trying to keep when the temperature outside is the same. That way, the shock will be very less.
Okay. And then a quick summary for watering and the fertilizing cycle once inside.
Watering, soil, based on the soil, what type of soil you planted the pot. Make sure what is the plant you are growing and what is the watering needs of that. You can cut that by 50%, and also what you want to do with the plant makes a difference. If you want jasmine to be flowering, you have to water it. If you just want to keep it dormant, then you don't have to.
And the light and air management.
Definitely for the core tropical plants that needs high intensity, I would recommend having a grow bulb, I mean grow lights that I shown before. The other ones can survive just on a regular tube light or a regular, fluorescent light, what we call it as. Make sure that the intensity is my first set of growing plants. Like, small ones that were just planted like, a couple of months before. And it grows. That would be great, but that is just a recommendation.
And then quick summary for common indoor problems. So for the lights, how much time do you keep the lights on, Prasanna? From morning
I'll
to
always keep them on. I will always keep them on.
not you don't turn them off even in the night?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Because I want them to be producing all the time, in the sense, like, I want them to be green all the time. If you are going to turn off the light, the heat energy is going to reduce as well. Humidity is going to reduce as well. So I try to keep them all the night. But ideally speaking, like, if you're in the house, you can probably turn off the light in the garage. But as long as it doesn't get your temperature below 40.
So nighttime also you have the lights on in your garage.
My garage, yes.
Okay. So so then we have common indoor problems and remedies. A quick summary.
Common indoor problems, normally people try to keep all the plants together, which needs less water, more water, and everything, and try to treat all of them in the same way. That is not true. If you are going to have, say, for example, curry leaf next to jasmine, and if you water both too much, or the same ratio, jasmine likes water, so they will grow very well. Curry leaf will die. If you do the other way, then curry leaf will die, jasmine will survive, or jasmine will die on curry leaf. So make sure when you are trying to put it right, just on your mind, you keep that this plant needs more water, so I'm going to keep that first, then the second one. So you basically can water based on what is the nature of the plant.
Okay. So we have a question here. Can you repeat about wheat tea?
Okay, so what I was telling about wheat tea is this is a simple uh, uh, process that I have experimented and see that working. Pull all the weeds, whatever weed that you can find in your ground. Okay, put it in a bucket of water. Let that soak in that water for say a couple of days. Then take that water and spray in your plant. So the smell of the weed and some behavior of the weed will come into that water, and that will come into your plant when you're spraying that. When the insects come in, they think that it's a different weed, so they which they don't like, so they would just skip that and go. It's just like tricking them with a covering. And actually, if you just water the if you water your plants with that water, that will have all the nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus that is from your garden that helped it to grow. All of that would be transferred to the water, and you are giving that water to your plant in need, or a beneficial plant that you have. It's going to absorb all the nutrients right away. So that is a great way of both fertilization or adding nutrition, as well as insect management.
So we have another question: when to prune, in winter or spring?
I would always recommend pruning post winter, just before spring, or probably during spring, because if you are going to have dormancy, then you don't want to hurt it, or make it heal, because the only way by which it will heal is start growing again. If you are pruning, you make sure you need to fertilize. If you are pruning, you need to make sure you water. If you prune and do not do all of this, the plant will die. So if you want to just keep it dormant before spring, fertilize it, prune it, fertilize it, water it, and take it outside. That is what I would recommend. But prune the dead cells, like this one that I showed, right? Like in the beginnings, like if this is a dead one, their plant doesn't need it. It's not going to be useful to it. So you can actually cut it off to reduce the dead weight on the plant.
Okay, so simple. Any simple home remedies you recommend for any issues like fungal issues or fruit flies? We have a lot of fruit flies inside, right? When you bring
Yeah.
the plants. So any remedies that you suggest?
Diatomaceous, yes. If the plant is healthy, the flies would not have a chance to attack them. The way I try to do that is try to keep my soil health, the plant healthy by adding enough fertilizer, nutrients to the plant. If you do that, then the plant will know how to manage that. Each of the plant has a behavior of secreting a particular type of acid or an enzyme that will keep that away from the insects, or impact less of the insect infestation. But if your plant is unhealthy, it is like a sick person. They cannot go out. They would get attacked by anything and everything that comes in the air. So the proactive measure of keeping the plant healthy is the first recommendation. If it gets infested, then try to spray neem oil, spray water, and throw diatomaceous earth powder on it so it will stick on. If it is being too harsh, kind of keep that plant away, or cut that or move it away before it infests the other plants. And shampoo water, as I mentioned before, is also a better option, safe option.
So it's the same repeat. I think I see mold or fungus after mold plant inside. What can I do to get rid of it? Shravani asks.
Ventilation. Keep couple of fans inside the garage and let it run all the time, so that mold and ventilation will not happen. Mold and humidity is a trade-off, so you make sure that you keep the humidity at a level where it does not cause mold. At the same time, you keep the humidity enough for the plant to thrive.
So what do we do when you start noticing yellowing of leaves and browning of the leaves at the
So
edges?
yellowing of leaves can happen because of two reasons: no water, too much water. You have to understand why it is happening, and each of that scenario is very different. So if it is too much water, stop watering. If it is too little water, start watering. As simple as that.
So they are asking, can I run dehumidifier for the mold and fungus issue?
The plant will die. As I said, it's a trade-off. If you keep at 50%, again, mold issues doesn't just happen only because of that. You have to check, whether you have your vents has mold in it and your air filter is good and all of that. If those things are maintained properly, you should not see that problem.
Okay. So,
And always I would recommend when you are trying to water in winter, right? Make sure that you water just to the pot. If I'm, I'm having this many plants. If I think that okay, I have to water, I put a hose on that, spray all over the place and on the wall and everything, right? The wall is not going to dry off. That's what is going to cause the mold. And it is not going to be anything beneficial to the plant either. So you make sure that you water only the plant, not the dry wall around your house, right? So that is what is relevant. So it's about how do you carefully handle it. That's the final answer to that point.
so we have another question. What to do about fruit trees and shrubs on the ground? You mean to
Fruit
say the regular? Okay.
fruit trees, definitely a lot of fruit trees need multiple maintenance care. Prune the lower branches. Make sure that you add some kind of a compost on the soil and remove the old leaves. That is where the insects eggs are going to be. That is where it is going to overwinterize. So make sure that even for my roses, I will make sure that there is no leaves at all at the end of the fall. I will clear all of them and mulch it and make sure that no eggs go inside. That's the option you have.
Okay.
And fruit trees have very special chemicals. In US, you cannot grow fruit trees organically. If you really want to have a production, because there is a lot of fungal problems out here, a lot of bacterial infections out here. So definitely, you have to use, bonocide or specific chemicals that is used for prevention of fungal and bacterial infection for fruit trees outside. You have a lot of YouTube videos on that. Look at what fruit tree you are growing to make sure that you add that. You have to do it in fall and you have to do it on spring again. And you have to do it once it flowers before it fruits. All three stages you have to do it.
Okay. So, any more questions or anything that you want to say, Prasanna, to the audience?
Nothing much. See, you are trying to do certain things like you are trying to grow tropical plants in a temperate environment. These plants do not belong here. You understand that first. So if you are interested in still doing this, right, you need to go that extra step of making sure that you take care of them. Whenever you buy a plant or get a plant, I would never recommend anybody getting a tropical plant during this time of the year. Whatever that plant might be, moringa, curry leaf, whatever it is, because it's like exciting when somebody comes to my farm now and asks like, hey, can I get a jasmine? I would say, why can't you come in spring? Unless you are a very experienced gardener and you have an environment where you can protect and keep it all throughout the winter. Because otherwise it will just be a loss of money, waste of time, and heartbreak. So I would definitely say grow minimal quantity that you can, and make sure that you understand the native nature of the plant before you get that. And as a common tip, also, I would say try to not include more than 2 to 3 varieties of plants in a year, because you have to study about that, understand what is that. Once you specialize, then you add all the varieties, 150 varieties that you see here. It took me 20 years to collect. I will make sure I do not add anything to the plant tool chest more than five in a year, because I want to understand that thoroughly, study about it, experiment on them, learn them, kill them, again relearn them or regrow them. That is how it has, the varieties has grown, because every one of these plant has a different behavior, different water needs, light needs.
So, there is another question, Prasanna. What about green fungus of apple grounded plants for outdoor?
It is a whole full topic by itself. I
Yes.
would probably cover maybe some other time, Vidya. Sorry, but yeah, there's so much of documentation on universe. See, I will also say, like any university you are around, right? You search for university documentation on plants. There are a lot of research done by agri universities all around US, and they would have published papers on right from tomato to curry leaf to jasmine. There are research based papers that is available for the growers to go and read. Few pages of it, you go and read that, because you might know curry leaf plant or jasmine plant from India, but you would not know how or what would impact that in America. That is very, very important for us to understand, because both us as well as the plant are new to this country. So we both have to get adapted to make sure that we both, live safely here.
Yes. So in Atlanta we have the UGA that shares a lot of information on what actually grows, what varieties or cultivars grow here. I'm leaving a link here in the chat for anybody who wants to go. That's just for the spring planting tips. But if you want, you can go do a deeper research and go to the UGA. And I think people from Tennessee, you have Prasanna to advise you. And I think we are nearing the end of the session. Any more questions? Please bring them up, or we can end the session. Anything else? So, thank you so much, Prasanna. That was
Sure.
practical information. If anyone is interested in more sessions with Prasanna, or do you have other topics that like fruit trees and all that stuff, that we will do sessions that for which the information is not easily available on social media or elsewhere, like this what we had session with Prasanna, it's his personal experience on how he brings 1,000 plants into his heated garage, right? So that's his experience. So I am trying to bring in sessions like this with people with real knowledge and experience, not just we can all find information on the internet, look for it and find it, but to add to that knowledge university, we are going after personal experiences, authentic, genuine ones. So if you have any sessions in mind or any people that you want to hear from, please leave your comment in the below in the chat. And the Prasanna is you can find Prasanna on Facebook. His farm page is Tulsima Gardens. That is his handle. And like I said in the beginning of the session, we on the holistic living community, we had upcoming sessions on earthworks, hands-on. We are building cob oven that will be curated, like 8 to 10 people per session. We had like 40-50 people come up saying they're interested, so that is too much to have on for one session. So we'll be breaking up that session and we'll be having multiple sessions on that. And we have rainwater management in the yard. We have mushrooms, growing mushrooms and all about mushrooms. And we have heirloom seeds, hybrid seeds, pros and cons. And then we have pruning trees the right way. I mean, we have all, like Prasanna said, every university has a specific page or specific blog or an article written especially for that particular state on what trees grows well, on what variety of tree grows well there. In spite of all that, if there is something that we can find that will add more meaning to what we do, then we'll go ahead with that session. And then we also have vermicomposting basics coming up. So anything else in mind, please feel free to leave a comment on the chat. Thank you again, Prasanna. Thank you again, Naveen Batini from Gates, if you're here. And um, see you all for our next workshop. And happy winterizing your plants.
All right. Thank you, Vidya. Thanks. It was a good session. Thanks for all your good efforts that you're doing. Fantastic. Appreciate it. Good catching up with you. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.